Before the day fully wakes, before the ridgeline comes into focus, there is a moment when the mountains feel older than memory. Stories live there, not all of them written down, some carried in voices, some guarded in silence, some resting quietly beneath the fog. This is a place where history and folklore walk side by side, and sometimes, they are the same story. Welcome to Where the Fog Settles. Here in the Appalachian Mountains, there are places where the fog doesn't simply pass through. It settles. It drifts down into the hollows, rests softly along the ridgelines, and lingers quiet in the valleys. And people who have lived here long enough will tell you the fog is not always just weather. Sometimes it feels more like a memory. Long before roads traced their way through these hills, before maps gave names to places that already existed, the fog was here. It moved quietly, settling into the valleys, resting low along the ridges, as if it remembered something we had forgotten. And if you've ever stood outside early enough, when the air feels heavier and the world has not fully awakened, you know the fog feels different here. Not just weather. Something older. Something watchful. Some say it hides things. Others believe it keeps memory close. And in these mountains, people have always listened when the mist arrives. Fog has always shaped how people move through these mountains, long before paved roads, before maps, before the hills were cut through with highways. People paid attention to the fog. Those who knew these mountains learned early not to rush it. When the mist settled thick along a ridge or filled a hollow below, they waited. They let it rise on its own before moving on. Hunters noticed something else when the fog came down. Sound behaved differently. A snapped twig did not carry the same way. A step somewhere in the trees felt softer, more distant, as if the mountains were keeping the sound close to the ground. And voices changed too, quieter, more distant, sometimes drifting just far enough that you couldn't quite tell where they were coming from. Some of the earliest written accounts from settlers described fog as clouds that had simply forgotten to stay in the sky. But the mountains had already been named long before these words were written. Long before settlers arrived here, the Cherokee called these mountains Shakanohe, the place of blue smoke. This name was born from the way the mist settles low and steady across the ridges, drifting through the valleys, lingering among the trees, like something that belongs here. Not something in the way, not something you rush through, but something that settles here. Over time, mountain communities began to read meaning into the fog. Some believed it marked a veil, a boundary between what is seen and what is only felt. Old traditions from many places and many people. They spoke of mist as a space where understanding softens and where certainty steps aside, and something quieter takes its place. And here, there was a practice many still remember. Each foggy morning in August, counted carefully. One fog, one snow. Beans placed into jars, notches carved onto wood. It was a way of listening to the land. It was speaking about the winter to come. Not science exactly, but not meaningless either. Just another way people tried to understand what was surrounding them. Fog changes more than sight. It changes sound, distance. Time itself seems to slow. Voices feel farther away. Footsteps feel softer. Shapes appear, then disappear again. And maybe that is why so many stories begin when the mist rolls in. A lantern lights a way where no path exists. Figures glimpsed briefly along a ridge. Not always frightening, but enough to leave a question behind. Some say fog hides what is lost. Others believe it protects what should remain unseen. And when the world grows quieter, people begin to notice things they might otherwise miss. Across cultures, fog has been seen as breath, as protection, as a reminder that human understanding does have its limits. Settlers often feared it. Indigenous traditions sometimes honored it. Two different ways of seeing the same presence. And maybe both hold truth. Because fog asks us to slow down, to move carefully, to accept that clarity comes and goes. Even now, when the mist settles low into the valleys, the mountains feel older, quieter, more aware. And whether you believe fog hides something, protects something, or simply reminds us that not everything needs to be seen clearly, one thing remains. Some stories never disappear. They only wait until until the fog lifts, or until someone learns how to listen. Until the mountains speak again, walk gently. Remember, not everything disappears. Notice what lingers